with testing. When we actually went to put the airfoils, the wings, into the the wind tunnel itself, originally we had these rubber tubes coming out because we wanted to have it just be able to bend away and kind of get away from the airfoil so it did not affect the airflow around it. But as we slid it up into place, we realized that these rubber tubes were dragging against the wall, which meant it would have affected the lift and drag readings. So immediately we had to pull it out and kind of not start over, but develop another plan. So quickly we moved to the now copper tubes that we have placed in them. So we bent 7 copper tubes to a 90-degree angle, made sure they're open, and then we ended up having to, since it didn't fit quite as snug as the rubber tubes, we RTV'd them in there as well, so it pushed our testing a day back. But after we figured that out, we were able to proceed with testing, and it cleared the wall perfectly. So then, yeah. That being said, one other problem that you can kind of visually see here with our test was the fact that when we were originally planning on doing or performing the test, our pressure tubes we thought would come out the side. And that wasn't possible, so then we had to just leave them hang. So that is one thing that did affect our drag, but one thing to note about that is it affected both of them equally, or at least very similarly, as we had the hoses routed in the same way and then taped up underneath the airfoil. So then these are just 2 photos that we have of us collecting the data. And this is the data we ended up collecting. So like I said, we had 8 different trials at 8 different speeds with 7 of the different pressure tabs. And so A through G is front to back of the airfoil. You can see here. And then, so we measured the pressures for each of them using this machine. It was actually super cool to set up and learn how to use and run, as well as the wind tunnel itself. And then lift and drag as well, we calculated from here. And then the delta H was from the manometer behind us, as well as recording the temperature. One thing to note, which you'll be able to better visually see in a second with the graphs, is that the lift and drag did not perform how we expected it to. We actually had an increase in drag and a decrease in lift, which we were expecting the opposite of that to happen. So that's just one thing to note, as well as one cooler thing to note is with the winglet added, we were able to get negative pressures towards the front of our airfoil. And so we can move to the next slide. So to start off, we went over, just quickly did some conversions in Excel